Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with a blind reaction to Morbius. This is a donation reward for Sweet Venom, and yeah, this movie has had uh, interesting reactions. A lot of people say it's shit. In fact, I'd say most people say it's shit. Um, and I feel like a lot of that reason is the script, the effects, the acting, and everything. Despite the fact that there's a lot of good actors in this. I mean, Matt Smith and Jared Leto are good actors, for example. And I've seen a couple clips, but and they are really bad. The effects are really, really bad. It's like this is a 2022 film. And it's like, yes, this is PG-13 when it should be a hard R, which is already an issue. But also, it's like this is 2022. Like it should be better. Comic book movies should be better. There's a standard to live up to. Now, obviously, I don't know for sure what I'm going to think of it. I could actually end up loving it. It's possible. But I have seen a couple clips just randomly. No big story spoilers or anything to my knowledge, but um, yeah, it looks so bad. Um, and the thing is, I do have like previous knowledge of the character of Michael Morbius, of the living vampire, and all of that. Spider-Man villain and all that jazz. I grew up with Spider-Man, so yes, I know who Morbius is. And I know how the animated series censored him, which is fun. Hand suckers. But yeah, I've just heard so much bad about this. And so this is it's interesting to get to react to this here to see what it's going to be like. Um, because this could go three ways. There's three ways this could go. Either it's surprisingly entertaining for me to whatever degree. It's surprisingly entertaining to me and I have a good time. Even if I don't love it, I have a good time. Second option is that yeah, it's just terrible. It's terrible. Don't enjoy it. It sucks. Or the third option is it's so ridiculously bad that it wraps around to being good again. It's so bad it's good. It's funny as hell, but it's still terrible. It's still genuinely bad. It's just enjoyably so, like Tommy Wiseau's The Room type of bad, for example, or Birdemic, or things like that. So bad it's good. Christmas with the Cranks for a seasonal example. Yeah, stuff like that. Um, I don't know what to expect. I know the basic story, so I'm not like too worried about that. It's more about how it handles everything and how that is just covered in here. Um, but this is on Netflix, so I'll be reacting to it off of there. Just makes it easier and everything. Um, and we'll see. We'll see. This could end up just being kind of in the vein of the likes of Sausage Party, and it's like I'm just not gonna like it that much. But there's maybe like one or two things that are slightly entertaining to me. Um, because at least like Sausage Party had like the needlessly sexy lesbian taco, which is like just dumb as fuck. Um, Staring at the buns the entire time. It's like, oh my god. But it was so dumb. It was funny and also kind of something you could cheer for at least. It's like cheer for the lesbians. Hell yeah. Um, but either way, either way, hopefully it's at least that, and it's not just like bad to the point where it's just I don't like it at all to any degree, that would still be preferable to that. So either way, we're gonna just get into this and hope for something. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the movie. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. By God, were they actually, like, serious? Were they actually serious that they were trying to set up a Sinister Six movie? Or were they that confident that this would be well received? Because it was not. This movie was received for the absolute shit show that it was. This was not good. It wasn't like the worst movie I've seen by any means. I've seen much worse. But it was not good. The dialogue was cringy a lot of the time. A lot of things just didn't add up and make sense. And there's just... It's so try hard. Like, it's trying so hard to be creepy and edgy and dark and broody. But because it's PG-13, it can't really do a lot. It's not able to actually get away with enough to actually make it work. If this had a hard R rating with a lot more violence and gore and blood and just horrific imagery and stuff, it might have been a lot better. But again, because it was only PG-13, it was severely lacking, to put it simply. But again, even if it had an R rating, I have a feeling that the dialogue and the writing and a lot of that would still just not work. It just, there's so much to this that just isn't good. But I'll say right off the bat, Jared Leto, Jared Harris, whoever played the girl, Martine, I don't know the actress, and Matt Smith, they all did well. Like, for what they were given, their performances were good. Like, they gave it their all. Matt Smith was having a blast with it. Jared Leto, you could tell, was trying. They were all giving it an effort. They weren't just phoning in their performances. They were actually trying. They wanted to, act. It's the dialogue, it's the writing, it's all of that made it not work. It's not the actors, it's not on them. The soundtrack was boring as shit, honestly. The effects, oh my god. I had seen, again, a couple shots, a couple, a couple clips here and there just randomly, just completely out of context, nothing, special. But, I even saw through the trailers and all. The effects are so fucking bad. I was hoping that was maybe, because it was out of context, it would be better in the movie. Oh my god, no. They were so bad. They looked... It looked like a video game. I've seen some bad effects before, but in 2022, it's that's... For a superhero movie, that's not acceptable. For a 2022 superhero film, good effects are kind of what you need to have. That's kind of a necessity. The MCU gets that down pat. A lot of these other superhero movies get that down. But it's what? And they try, there was so much cringy shit in it. Why did they make a Venom joke? Why? What was the point of that? It didn't connect to anything. It was so needless and so cringy. And the post-credit scenes are so fucking ballsy. It's like, oh my god, you really think you're getting a Sinister Six movie here? You really think this is happening? Also, both post-credit scenes having to do with Adrian Toomes. It's like, why? Why not just make that a single post-credit scene? Like, you had two scenes, two separate scenes, separated by credits, and they were both like. You could have just had the part where he talks to Morbius. Or you could have just had it be one credit scene, like just have a fade between it. It's like, I don't understand. I, I, I don't get how you can just miss the mark this badly. But, to be completely fair, this tends to happen when you take a villain and turn them into a fucking anti-hero. I'm sorry, I fucking hate that so bad. It's like, let villains be villains. Maleficent doesn't have to have a sad backstory. Morbius doesn't have to be a good guy. Black Adam doesn't have to be an anti... Stop that! Just let them be bad guys. The Rock is actually proud of Black Adam, too. He thinks it's a good representation of the character, and it's so bad. At least I don't think Jared Leto is necessarily proud of this one. At least there's that. I don't know actually what he thinks of it. But as always, let's talk about what other people think as well. On Rotten Tomatoes, as always, take it with a grain of salt because Rotten Tomatoes, the film has an approval rating of 15% based on 273 reviews, with an average rating of 3.8 out of 10. Based off just of initial viewing, if I were to give it a out of 10 rating, I'd probably give it a 4. So, yeah, just about the same as them. A little higher technically, because again, I've seen worse, but it's bad. It's still bad. The website's critic consensus reads cursed with uninspired effects, rote performances, and a borderline nonsensical story. This jury mess is a vain attempt to make Morbius happen. It ranks as the 16th worst reviewed superhero movie on the site, apparently, as well. It just adds that extra little tidbit in here. Metacritic gave it a weighted average score of 35 out of 100 based on 55 critics. Indo-Asian News Service described the film as having been utterly ravaged by critics, and Variety reported reception as being comically bad. So let me see here. Reviewing the film for Collider, Emma Kaylee? I'm not sure. Felt that the central problem of Morbius is a lazy and uninspiring script. Fair. And added that no weight or depth is given to any character. Like, that's a big thing. Oh my god. Okay, so Milo is the villain. Why? Where did that come from? Like, they're best friends from childhood into adulthood. They both have the same illness and all. And suddenly, out of nowhere, Milo's the villain. He just, like, becomes evil just because. Why was he the villain? Like, there was nothing to set that up. If there was like, the only thing you could possibly say that set that up was the fact that he was attacked by those bullies as a kid. But nothing ever, like, that. He didn't even say that was a reason. He didn't even say, like, oh, everybody was always against us. No, it's just like, we've always been on the bottom. Now everybody else gets to feel that. It's like, why was he the villain? It was not set up or written well at all for him to be the villain. It would have made more sense for Jared Harris to be the villain. The Doctor. He would have made more sense. She also noted that there is little humor in the film, and when it tries to make a tongue-in-cheek joke, it fails miserably. Um, that's not a huge issue for me, the having little humor in it. Like, but I agree that when it tries to make a joke, it does fail. It's like nothing that it tries to be funny with is funny. So yeah. Barry Hertz of the Globe and Mail panned the film, saying it is charmless, incoherent, ugly, and so aggressively stupid that it defies any attempt to shove it into the desperate guilty pleasure box. Yeah, it's like I can't even see this as a guilty pleasure for sure. Because it's so fucking dumb. It is so dumb. It is so annoying. It's so, oh my god. That describes it really well. Charmless, incoherent, ugly, and so aggressively stupid. It is so bad. Wendy Ide of The Observer gave the film 1 out of 5 stars, calling it an incoherent vampire-themed Marvel offcut. Hannah Strong of Little White Lies also gave the film 1 out of 5, describing it as soulless, tedious filmmaking. Richard Roper of the Chicago Sun-Times awarded the film 2 of 4 stars, saying it looks like Morbius might soon cross paths with Spider-Man in one universe or another, but that would be a big step up for him because his introductory vehicle feels more like a just average 1990s vampire movie. No, it doesn't. A just average 90s vampire movie would be much better than this. Mick LaSalle of the San Francisco Chronicle awarded the film a 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4? Why? And called the film briskly riveting. How? How is it anything? What? And perfect antidote to bloated the bat. You fuck off. You're gonna hate on the Batman, which was great, and then you're gonna call this a perfect antidote to what? Are you high? Chris Bumbray of JoeBlow.com gave the film 6 out of 10 and called it decent enough start for the latest edition of the Sony Spider-Man universe, while also praising the cinematography and horror aspects. Why do I doom read movie reviews? Like, why do I do this to myself? I know I'm just going to upset myself. Yeah, no. Let's move on from the main things. Because there's this thing here that talks about specifically the post-credits. The post-credits scenes also came under heavy scrutiny and became a joke in the eyes of the general public due to the failed fan service, confusing and incoherent explanation, and dialogue. Kate Airbland of IndieWire stated, "This is confusing stuff, and the appearance of Keaton in a pair of mid-credit scenes does little to help the sense that Morbius is mostly incoherent, or at least very at odds with whatever it's trying to say." Paul Tassi of Forbes said that Adrian Toome's motivation made little sense, and opined that all of this seems pretty poorly mapped out at the moment. It's more like Sony stole Toomes from the MCU rather than added Morbius to the MCU, which was more the original implication. Julia Glassman of The Mary Sue found the overall reveal weak, stating, "I'm beginning to wonder if Sony just doesn't quite get the point of mid-credits scenes." Time Out's Kathy Brennan felt the film's attempts to court an audience by dangling a potential connection to the MCU's Spider-Man is the worst kind of unearned fan service in a film this lackluster. So I wasn't really thinking about like the post-credit scenes as like just unearned fan service. I was more thinking it's just like unearned confidence from the creators. It's like this Sinister Six bullshit's not happening. And yeah, there's all the Morbius memes and everything that came from it. It's Morbin Time and everything. And yeah, it's just like... In January 2021, Leto said there was a potential for Morbius to appear alongside the character Blade in a future project. That December, in discussing the introduction of the multiverse in Spider-Man No Way Home, Leto said there was potential for future crossovers with his character in future films. Tom Holland expressed interest in seeing his version of Spider-Man fighting Morbius in the future, while producers Kevin Feige and Amy Pascal confirmed interest in a potential film starring both Leto and Ali, Mahershala Ali for Blade. In March 2022, Leto also expressed interest in a future film featuring Morbius alongside Venom, portrayed by Tom Hardy. During CinemaCon 2022, Sony announced numerous Marvel projects. Some outlets noted that while Venom 3 and Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse were announced, there was no announcement for a Morbius sequel, leaving the character's future in question. Yeah, it's like, if they did decide to make a sequel or anything more involving it, it would be such a waste of money, because this did so fucking bad. It is such a bad movie. It's not even entirely on the degree to where it's so bad it's good. And I apologize for the light, by the way. It's not even at a degree where it's so bad it's good. It's just bad. Again, there's a couple things about it that are fine. Again, the performances are actually fine, especially from the leads. Tyrese and whoever the other FBI agent were, they were phoning it in. The other one was trying to be funny at times and was failing very hardcore. But yeah, Jared Leto, however you want to fucking pronounce it. Jared Harris, again, the girl who plays Martine, and Matt Smith did fine for what they were given. The script and the dialogue were shit, but their performances were completely fine, and even good for what they were given. They were just given shit. They were given absolute dog shit to work with, and that's what ruined the movie. It wasn't the actors themselves. But yeah, I wouldn't even consider this a guilty pleasure worthy movie. I wouldn't even consider it to be a so bad it's good. It's bad. I don't regret having seen it, though, because at least I gave it a chance. At least I tried, even knowing what people thought of it. And admittedly, again, I don't always agree with what everyone thinks. A lot of times my opinions will be very different from the the major critical / audience consensus. But this time that was just not the case. This time I very much agreed that this film was bad. Maybe not with every single point made, but this film was definitely bad. But that being said, let me know in the comments, what did you think of Morbius? And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.